It's up to 18%, but I didn't know he had sat down here and just fucking died.
How dare you?
How dare thee? So I forgot, Brant, when you and I, the last thing I streamed from here was when we were messing around with Donkey Kong for the Switch. And I had it saved as like a scene collection. So I couldn't find that when I was trying to do the Resistance one. And I whipped up like a brand new scene for that, but I've got it saved in there now, so I shouldn't have to. Should just be the Elgato HDMI in, and then I'm good from there. Did either of y'all? We all financed this as a group, I think, when McLeod and Russell were with us. But you guys ever want to mess with this? Don't forget, I have it sitting here. So
I got one too.
Okay. And I bought a PCIe one off of Woot or something on clearance years ago, like right after we did that one. So, Brand, if you ever want to mess with that, it is yours to tinker with. I think we used it. Cesar, is that what we used when we did the Mario Kart Double Dash one? Oh, Murmy says notifications work. Beautiful.
Well done.
Well done. We did it. We did the thing.
All right, in stream.
Murmy, when I have been doing the Resistance streams, is my image too small? Is my camera too small in the corner?
We're still in the Resistance stream, but
Rant Baki is claiming that I'm too tiny in the corner.
Resistance stream.
God, that game! I'm having so much fun with that game.
Don't resist the stream. Let it come.
Always resist the stream. Resist that stream. That's a fucking lemon. That thing is rough.
I don't think I've even played that one. The last Resistance I remember playing was whatever one was on the PSP.
Retribution.
Yes. That was a good one.
I think that's one of the ones they ported over in the emulator, right?
Damn. Murray says fix it, so I guess I have to fix from the small.
Or just kill the video, man. Just kill the video.
Yeah.
Kill the video. It look weird with your postage stamp, Richard.
Okay, I'll fix it. I'll find something to do. I might get a green screen and see what that does.
Oh, shit.
Your light. Rant Baki just went out.
My light's been out, sir.
Let your dim light shine. Let me pull up these stories. News seems light. We should be able to get through this pretty quick, right? Thankfully.
Try.
After the madness of the unpacking people? I didn't see this article. Brent, you might have to lead off news.
Oh, shit.
I like that game. I didn't realize my kids played that 2 years ago. I saw like a picture popped up, like a memory thing. That was 2 years ago when they were playing through that. I do want to stream some Killzone, though. Do I go...
Do you have the trilogy?
Yes, I do. Do I go all the way through Resistance and then switch to Killzone, or do I alternate? Mix up my lores, potentially? Do not kill the video, make you bigger, says Murmy. I shall do that. I will do that.
Damn.
Yeah, this is going to be a blowout.
Yeah, Gene Hackman's not pleased.
He's going to throw a chair at Rudy.
I mean, Rudy's winning, right?
Yeah, that's why you got to throw a chair at him.
Take Rudy out of the game. You put him in there when they're losing.
We have a family friend whose son looks exactly like Sean Astin, and he actually went to Notre Dame. It was kind of crazy. He is very Samwise Gamgee-esque.
He's not the Samwise from 50 First Dates.
That might be my favorite Sean Astin character. He's so good.
You keep telling him to stop doing the steroids.
He's like always trying to get ripped. He's wearing those super tight t-shirts, backwards hats. He means well, man. He's a good brother. That's the major takeaway when you get past all the craziness. He's a good brother. Hermano. ¿Cómo se dice brother in Japanese?
You got a Oni-chan, which is older brother, and Ototo, which is younger brother.
Oni-chan and Ototo.
Ototo, and like Russ will be your Ototo.
That's interesting. They're so wildly different. Phonetics. Oh, Buish says happy Halo days for all who observe. Brant doesn't want to observe. Brant, happy Halo days.
Oh shit!
Happy Halo days. Brant's like, wow, he's just wearing a sweater with snowflakes on it.
I thought it was just somebody peeing in a cup.
Happy Halo days. Happy Halo days. All right, you guys ready? I've got our alternate podcast as well. I hit record. Thank you, Mermy. Mermy says boo booish. Always boo and booish. It's a very festive season.
Every time we're in here is always a Mermy, Buish, Civil War. Can't have a normal.
It's usually one side. It's an anti-booish messaging that occurs. At least because it's consistent. We need a moderator for the chat that just keeps Mermy from attacking Buish every time. Such hate.
Hate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 330 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and sports movie podcast. That's right. You come for the games, you stay for the movies that are based around sports. My all-time favorite is Field of Dreams. One might argue that's a ghost story. Brent, besides Happy Gilmore, what is your favorite sports-based film?
I'll take either. I want to say Sandlot, but you did
Solid?
say
you can have Sandlot.
You did just say Field of Dreams. I'll take Mighty Ducks.
You love Field of Dreams? Do you have a Field of Dreams lover?
Field of Dreams is pretty good.
You cry at the end?
So, no.
Oh. All right.
But I'll also take. I'll also put my hat in the ring for Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
Emilio.
It's a solid pick.
Emilio.
That's our either favorite or top 3 sports-based film of all time.
My top one's probably Raging Bull.
That is a fantastic film. I haven't seen that in a long time. I thought Space Jam might be on somebody's list. Space Jam it still holds up. Space Jam still holds up. It's a good movie. Buish and I have been kicking around old movies as when we were kids to see if they still hold up, right? So Small Soldiers was the talk of the town a couple weeks ago. You guys remember Small Soldiers?
Yeah, with Phil Hartman.
Was Phil Hartman in that one?
Yeah.
He was the dad.
Oh, shit. Was that one of his last roles? That in Blasto?
It was. Mm-hmm. It was one of the last ones.
I think Small Soldiers might have been after he passed or near, right around it. It was close.
I remembered Tommy Lee Jones. I think was the voice that I remembered.
The CGI though in that, a lot of the effects, they really do hold up.
Almost like Toy Story in that you're imagining toys, right? It's not people that you're trying to, like the uncanny valley doesn't get crossed when it's an action figure that's moving around. Did anybody play the game? I looked up the game after that. Small Soldiers,
the PlayStation 1
PS1 game. It looks like a solid game, but it's kind of expensive now. It's like $40-$45.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's Field of Dreams. The Natural is probably a close follow-up. The Waterboy would count as a sports movie. That's a good sports movie.
Gatorade.
H2O.
Oh my gosh.
Adam Sandler was on a run there for a couple of years.
Yeah, if you want to go Adam Sandler, then you can also throw in the remake of The Longest Yard.
Yeah. I remember selling that for PSP when it came out on the UMD video format.
UMD.
Yeah, UMD, baby. Universal Media Disc. How about Remember the Titans? We all went and watched that as a 9th grade baseball team.
Very good one.
We all loaded up on a bus and went to see Remember the Titans. I'm not sure why we saw that as a baseball team, but that was a very good film.
It is.
Tonight.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, just watch Hustle with Adam Sandler. It's another good one.
Hustle? What's that one about?
Hustle.
He plays as a basketball scout. He scouts out talent for the NBA.
Okay.
Yeah. What was a Will Ferrell movie with Andre 3000 in it? They played as the Flint Tropics. It was like an ABA type league.
It was an
It
ABA
was so
team.
that movie was good. I don't know if it holds up still, but it was good when I watched it.
Does Dodgeball count as a sports
Dodgeball
movie?
is a sports
It does.
movie. I would say Dodgeball is a sports
Richard,
movie.
it
ESPN
is,
the Ocho, you know,
It's semi-pro.
Semi-pro, yep.
Semi-pro.
I want to say that was one of the first Blu-rays I got many years ago.
What is it? Am I thinking of the Replacements, like Charlie Sheen and
Replacements is good with
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
With Keanu
Yeah,
Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Mighty Ducks. I
No,
don't
you're
know.
talking
Mighty
about,
Ducks
talking about
is
Major
good.
League is with Charlie Sheen. Major League.
Major League is Charlie Sheen.
Major League. There we go.
Because I always make that reference to Richard, where they always had those big Indians fans that sit in the back, and then that one year is like, we're gonna lose anyways. They had those big crosses over the shirts.
Mhm.
We suck. I always feel like that with the Falcons. We suck. We're gonna lose anyways.
Too soon, Cesar. Of course, Kevin Costner's like the king of the. I mentioned Field of Dreams, but he's also in Bull Durham and For the Love of the Game, Tin Cup, a golf movie. Legend of Bagger Vance, golf movie is really, really good. With Will Smith and Matt Damon. That was a great movie. Tonight's news, Nintendo called out Sony / Kadokawa update. Good news for Tales fans? ? Cesar, would you consider yourself a Tales fan?
Always have been.
Always will be?
Yeah.
So, and there is a Helldivers X Killzone crossover. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, welcome. Thank you for building this light load of news after last week's abundance of news that cascaded all over our faces.
Yep, it's getting the end of the year. It's time for a light load.
The game, everything post Game Awards is it's gonna be light. Maybe we get more time for gaming in, or at least we discuss more gaming time on the show. Also here, having discussed his favorite sports films, Cesar Concepcion the second.
As I watched the Hoosiers lose.
Yes, that's how this all kicked off. It's Hoosiers versus Gene Hackman versus Sean Astin
Sean
as Rudy.
As we totally negate all the players on these teams that played hard. We're like, oh, this is the only way we remember your teams.
Yeah,
it's by these two actors who played roles in these movies years and years, decades
We distilled them down to two 80s films.
Yeah.
Rudy might have been like 90, 91, right? Maybe Rudy
was 90.
Yeah, Rudy was early 90s. All right, let's get into this news. Nintendo called out. Brant, I'm going to let you take this one. I did not see this anywhere, but I did play the game in question with my kids.
So this is mostly to do with the fact that the Nintendo eShop is a wasteland of shovelware, copycats, and rip-off games.
Yeah.
All right, I don't want to interrupt Brant, but I would say the same for the PlayStation Store as well.
Is it
The
gotten that
PlayStation
bad?
Store
It's pretty much the same thing. Not as bad, but it's bad.
It's not to that point of Nintendo Store, but it's pretty damn bad.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a lot of AI-based games. It's always hentai paradise, hentai.
Oh my
City
gosh.
Girl.
What makes it so
Like,
bad? Because I feel like when I go in there, I just search for something, I find whatever I'm looking for, and not really just
It's
parsing
like,
through stuff.
It's literally for the Sony side, they literally put out like these $5.99 games for easy trophies, and they're just AI built games. Like nobody actually worked on. They're just in there for a quick buck. And then typically they get released, they get flooded to the top of the store because they make them so quickly and just pop them out there.
Yeah,
so like they
churn 'em out.
bury down all the quality games. Because like what they're doing is like people will go up there and getting like, oh, easy trophies, easy platinums. Oh, it's only $4, and they're just in there buying those up versus buying like an actual legit game. So
Is this the iOS App Store effect that happened all those years ago?
basically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's Doom, but we didn't call it Doom, and it's $1, and we made a bunch of people download it at one time because it was $1, and now it's the number one ranked App Store game in the App Store, and Apple's going to highlight it. Does the same algorithm type stuff apply to this?
Well, I mean, we'll let Brant finish here.
Okay, I gotcha.
Something
Yeah.
similar to Nintendo in.
So the article I'll be referencing comes from VGC, from Tom Ivan, about the creative director of the indie hit Unpacking, calling out Nintendo. So over the last couple of months, several similarly named and themed unpacking titles have started appearing and sold on Nintendo's marketplace alongside the indie hit,
which is a phenomenal video game.
But they have similar names and things like Unpacking Deluxe Edition, Unpacking Universe of Dreams, Unpacking New Chapter, and Unpacking Chill Music Pack. In late November, Vooks brought these products listing to the attention of the Unpacking Studios, and the creative director then subsequently reported them to Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
It's been over 2 weeks, and they're still on the eShop. Nintendo has not responded to any of our reports of these egregious scams, which are using our trademark, game name, and purposefully tricking Nintendo customers into buying cheap fakes.
Oh, that's crazy. These titles actually have like the open cardboard box thing that Unpacking centered their logo stuff around.
This is a post from Blue Sky. It looks like from the creative director showing all of the listings literally right next to Unpacking, and of course they're always marked down cheaply for, like Cesar was saying, they mark them down to where they're $3, $4, $5, something like that. They mark them down super cheap in order to sell them, but it's just a cheap, inferior product. The listings in question are from a publisher called CGI Labs. As reported from Nintendo Life, they've released several titles. It looks like about 13 on the eShop
Brent, look at the last
in
one. Look at the last
2024.
one. That's what I was telling you about.
Let's see. What is it? Game Store, Supermarket Simulator, Car Parking, Legends Drive and Park Adventure, and Anime Puzzle Quest, The Magical Girls Adventure.
Oh.
And then it looks like, oh yeah, and then it just mentions that, you know, there was also last year that weird Last of Us kind of ripoff game that briefly
that weird eShop game.
eShop. Yes.
Mhm.
So this Nintendo and like Cesar was saying, and Sony really honestly need to get a hold of their storefronts.
The Last Hope is what that game was called.
You could literally have have a drinking game if you got on the eShop and just started scrolling and saw every game that literally looked like it was generated by AI or just had like this most ridiculous name or was just, like he said, some kind of weird hentai game. And it's just literally just pages and pages and pages and pages before you see, you know, a quality hit or something that, you know, somebody put years trying to get out there, and only to be pushed down by these games that
Garbage
are marked
ripoffs.
$2 to $4, and they're absolutely nothing. And seemingly Nintendo and Sony are not really doing much to correct the issue.
Is it because there's too much content out there, or they're just not able to keep up on it? I mean,
you would think there'd be like stricter vetting processes. I mean, Nintendo. Yeah. I was talking to my kid last week all about Nintendo in the 80s and early 90s.
The seal of quality and
the seal of quality and the NES and how they had to work to build that reputation up. And now it's, when you look at the eShop, we're almost back to that point where it's like everybody's just throwing their like crappy games out there.
No seal of quality, no licensing. I mean, they still have to do certain level of licensing, but it's like they can't keep up with the amount of stuff that comes out. And then let's not forget, they also get a cut of these sales. So the stuff that's out there that sells, they get a cut of this on the eShop. So
yeah,
behooves them to have a multitude of stuff on there. But if it's being inundated with nonsense, then that's no good. Is that it for that one?
Yes, sir.
Time to go download the bootleg Last of Us called The Last Hope on our
The last,
or
the
alternate
last
storefronts.
remaining, yeah, alternate storefronts. Yeah, sailing in the high seas.
Of course, I'm sure that ISO's out there somewhere. The next one comes from Jordan Midler at VGC VideoGamesChronicle.com. Sony is now Kadokawa's largest shareholder. Sony has increased its shares in Kadokawa as both companies agree to a strategic capital and business alliance. Sony already owns shares in the media heavyweight, but following today's announcement, it will now own around 10% of the company, making it the largest shareholder. Despite previous reports of Sony's interest in acquiring the company, this deal does not constitute an acquisition, and Kadokawa will remain an independent entity. In a release, Sony claimed it plans to, quote, discuss specific initiatives for collaboration, such as initiatives to adapt Kadokawa's IP into live-action film and TV dramas globally, co-produce anime works, expand global distribution of Kadokawa anime works through the Sony Group, further expand publishing of Kadokawa games, and develop human resources to promote and expand virtual production. That was a long quote. For game fans, Kadokawa is best known as the parent company of From Software, developers of Elden Ring. Quote, we are very pleased to conclude this capital and business alliance agreement with Sony, says Takeshi Natsuno, Kadokawa's CEO. This alliance is expected to not only further strengthen our IP creation capabilities, but also increase our IP media mix options, with Sony support for global expansion, allowing us to deliver our IP to more users around the world. The quote continues. I'm not going to read that. The quote continues.
I was about to say they it goes between that and Hiroki Totoki, and it basically is the same thing. They're both excited to expand the brands and get the IPs out there and create more content to be sold.
We like making money, and we found someone to help us make more money. So that's what was this mix of Kadokawa? Like, what was in their catalog? It was like, it wasn't just, this was the whole From Software thing we talked about a couple weeks ago. We don't have to dive back into it, but they also...
From Software is a decent part of it, but like Cesar was saying, there's a whole media side of light novels, anime, and other stuff that...
Manga, books, they got like books, music. I mean, I don't know if Sony would... I think that what they're scared of is how they would integrate that into their portfolio. You know what I mean? Something that big. It's not like something they didn't buy like a small manga company or something like that where they could, kind of get their feet wet. So I'm assuming they're probably very cautious on who they're buying after the whole Bungie thing. Right. So because that didn't turn out the way they are. I think it seems more along their lines because it's a strategic partnership. So my guess is if it does well, then they'll start buying up more shares. Or buy them outright at some point. That would be my guess. If it doesn't, then they would just sell it off, kind of like they did with Square Enix, when they had those shares in Square Enix for a while.
And it's a portfolio flex too, because that gives them access to a bunch of different things and different contacts and things like that across multimedia. This is not just a game company like Bungie is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Brant said. They got their hands. Kadokawa was just a media conglomerate. I mean, it's kind of like I guess they're like Japan's version of like Disney. There's so many different IPs on there for so many different things created in there. That's very popular around the world in there. So
it's also crazy to me that 10% is a majority share. That's wicked. There's a bunch of different pieces to that puzzle.
Yeah.
That thing is like super split up.
But yeah, I mean, I think it works better out that way because like I told you, my concern was I don't know how they would integrate that and keep them. They got too many moving parts, man. Yeah. I mean, I think Sony wants to get out to that point because, they're not going to, right now, their biggest moneymaker is PlayStation, and in the future, that's probably not going to be feasible for them. So it's like, they're going to want to branch out at some point. Because, I mean, you saw what happened with Paramount. They try to buy Paramount because they were looking at, buying the catalog of movies and streaming and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but it was too much money, and I think they saw the books on Paramount, and the books weren't right. They were like, they're not going to make any money off that deal. That's why they backed out. So... I think they're trying to find something, but they're not, because I mean, right now they have a small. I think I said this before in this podcast. It's like they can't do stuff like Microsoft, where they can. All right, we're putting our games on everything. I think deep down that's what they want to do, but they can't because they make most of their money off PlayStation, right? And they don't want to get to the point where nobody's like, I don't want to fucking buy PlayStation at this point if I can just buy it wherever.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can't. Their games don't sell like Nintendo does. That's what everybody wants. They want those 80 million copies of Mario Kart. They want those 30 million copies of like Mario.
Mario Kart's the new Fortnite.
The closest they got was what? Horizon. That's why we keep getting Horizon games that kill Killzone, because Horizon was like 20, 25 million. That's like the highest selling franchise they got. So, I mean, there's a reason why.
And Killzone's going to come up later, but I was looking at these numbers and like Resistance, and it was like Resistance 1 sold 1.5 million copies as the best-selling launch title. And Resistance 2 followed it up and sold 2 million copies. Like, it's such trivial numbers compared to the turnaround that they get on some of these other titles. And when you have a breakout success like Horizon, that's why we got Lego Horizon on everything, which is supposed to be $20 on Switch at Costco and might be worth looking into.
Let me know if you find any extras. I'll float you $20.
I might venture over there. You saw that today too?
Yeah. I did. Yeah.
I'm curious into how this performs at the $20 price point.
I heard it plays very, very well
on Switch.
Yeah,
damn.
It said it was comparable to the PS5 version.
Wow.
Okay.
I think from what is that it's been reviewed very well, but what I've read online from like a lot of people on there is that what they did not like is that it doesn't have all the pizzazz from like a Traveler's Tales game, right? From a Lego game. There's not a lot to do. You get the main story, and once you're done with it, you're done with it, right? There's not like a lot of areas we can explore, open up hidden areas. I think that's where most of the complaints I've seen from people online are about that game. So I think that's why it hasn't been like as widely talked about.
So those games are pretty linear as it is. So it's just a very linear version of one of those.
It's like a toned down version of like a Star Wars trilogy one, where you have a lot of Easter eggs, stuff like that. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I just think $20 would be my price point. I think $9.99 might have been that's too high for me.
I'll let you know if I wander in there this weekend. I'll be poking around. I tried to talk Friend of the Show Russell into looking at the Zelda game. I think they clearance the Zelda game and Mario and Luigi Brothership. They were also like 20 and 30 respectively.
Yeah, they go down quick.
For some reason at Costco. I've yet to buy a game at Costco. And I saw when Princess Peach got down to, I think Princess Peach was 25 or 30 at one point. They just have those big cardboard things, you like pull the cardboard thing out and put it in your buggy and carry it around. And I guess they have a cage somewhere like Sam's Club used to do back in the day. So you'd unleash.
It reminds you of your old Toys R Us days where you got to give the postcard off and hand it to somebody.
Yep. They had a cage too. It's like, take this slip, go retrieve my game from the cage, please.
Shoot. I remember when Sam's Club and them, you would get either the games or the CDs, and they'd have that weird like thin plastic.
I was describing that to Buish a couple years ago. It's like a giant blister pack with but it had a handle. It had like a handle at the bottom.
Yeah,
like
it had like an extra piece, like a handle, and you sat there and like rifled through them. Yeah. They were on like a tiered shelf, and you could sit there and like go shelf to shelf.
Yeah.
I remember that, man.
Russell and I, we had our brand new GameCube, and we were in Sam's Club or BJ's or Costco or whatever it was at the time, and we were thumbing through those. And we found NHL Hits on GameCube for $5, and it was like, oh, we're getting this. Let's go. We don't even care if it's good or not. That is a awesome hockey game. NHL Hits is so much fun. And I remember being good at it, and then Cesar and I played it a couple years ago. Was it me, you, and Russell that tried NHL Hits? And
I think we were getting through our Blitz phase, and you were on phase, and you were like, all right, let's see what these other sports are.
The computer destroyed us.
After we played, I think Blitz on the OG Xbox, you're like, this is not any fun. And then we're going out to other Blitz games. I mean, other Blitz-based games.
Yeah, and I bought the soccer one. Oh man, we played NHL Hits, and the computer beat us like 10-0 or 11-0. Like we never scored. They just whooped our asses.
They were always on lightning and everything.
On fire mode and just killing us. Every time we got the puck, they're just running us over. It's fun though. That would be another good one to. It's been a while since we had like a 4-player Xbox marathon like we used to do. That'd be a good time. That'd be fun one to stream and just have a camera going like off, capturing us and also capturing the gameplay. I think that'd be a fun couch co-op stream. All right, is that it from Katakawa?
Yes.
That's it. That's the
Yep,
story.
that was it. 10%. 10% owner. That's it. That's all we got.
10%. Majority owner, 10%.
10%.
You are the majority.
It's like the new Ubisoft all over again.
Cesar, do you want to go over the Tales of stuff? I don't know how much news came out of that outside of the fact that there will be future news was the big news. Or I could take it.
There we go.
Sauermanos.
Gematsu was endlessly loading for whatever reason. It's still endlessly loading for me.
He was like live tweeting this as we went. So, mine just crashed. Holy shit!
That's why I said mine crashed too.
We're not meant to look at Gematsu content currently.
All right, Sauermano Gematsu recently typed up a article on the Tales of Series remaster project, where after Tales of Grace F remastered, the producer Yusuke Tomizawa will continue consistent line of remastered works. So they had a special broadcast. They always have one, typically every year. They always have a Tales of one, and then everybody always gets their hopes up. It's like the Sonic cycle. Everybody gets their hopes up, like, oh, this is gonna be great. They're gonna do Tales of the Abyss remaster, and then it's just like, oh, we're thinking about what we're gonna do with this, and nothing ever happened.
Sonic cycle.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, that's typically how it is. So as a Tales fan, I'm fully aware of this because a lot of people. I like Tales of Grace F. It is not one of the top tier ones. It's one of those ones that some people consider middleware. I enjoy the hell out of it.
Is a remaster not going to fix the things? Is it story that was not so great?
I think it was just a story. This was like one of those ones as they were trying to figure out what they were moving from the GameCube PS2 generation, because this was I mentioned before in this podcast. This was a Wii game, and it was shit. It ran like shit.
Oh.
And then they came back and they made what they call Tales of Grace F. They put it on the Wii, then they put it on the PS3, and then this is the era when Nintendo was being weird in America and Europe, so they skipped the Wii over here, and then it was a PS3 exclusive over here.
Okay.
So and it has been locked.
This one for PS3 maybe.
It's been locked on the PS3 since. It's fine. It's probably. It's not, in their story, it's not a lot on the line. It gets weird towards the end, but I enjoyed it. It's fine. It's not, everybody wants Tales of Zillia.
It's a competent Tales.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody wants Tales of Zillia, or they want Abyss. That's where they're at right now. So it's like, if it's not one of those, they're going to be bitchy about it. But it's neither here or there. He said they're fairly consistently going to start remastering some of these Tales titles. Down the line, they're going to try to do as much as possible, is what he said.
That's the big news.
I think they're walking that gray line. I think the cool thing is that this is going to be widely available on almost everything, right? Tales of Grace F is going to skip the PS4 in America. I think there's only a physical copy in Europe. And I think there's only a physical copy of the Xbox game in Europe. They're skipping disc-based in America as well.
Why is Europe seeming to be getting more of those physical copies? I feel like it's skewing more that direction. Is it just me?
I think it's because I think the physical copy sales over there in Europe, not UK, but in Europe, are higher. So I think that's why they're doing it.
Why is that? They're all closer together. Wouldn't they have better broadband and stuff for an online infrastructure?
I have no idea.
But people are still buying them. So yeah, what?
Yeah, they're making it for them. So
I would like to see physical sales by region and see if we're like an outlier or. And comparing like a metro, we're in Metro Atlanta, obviously. Comparing an urban place versus a rural, what does that look like? Are they trying to buy more physical copies, but they have to travel further to get a physical copy of a game?
It depends on the situation, because some of these, like we have talked on this podcast before, some of these games are not completely on disc, right? So
yeah, it's the worst part.
Gotten to the point where I had a coworker at work who was super excited about Indiana Jones, bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it, and it was 500 kilobytes on the disc. It still has a 100 gig download. So he bought the disc he said absolutely no reason. It's just a coaster for him. So
unlock key.
I would like to see what the PlayStation version of that will be. If it will be
complete on disc. Yeah.
On their
considering
HD
it's going to be an Ultra HD disc. That's what I want to know.
You would hope. You can't leave it out because Activision doesn't put full versions of Call of Duty on those discs either. So. 500 kilobytes on Ultra HD, man. What a great use of space.
Wait for the uproar for them to come out and say the full PS5 Indiana Jones game is on the disc and the Xbox one is a 500 kilobyte unlock file. Just wait for that to come out.
Xbox has set that standard though. They've been doing that in this generation.
And the last one. I look at my Xbox One versus PS4 collection, and it's.
Yeah.
I don't know that I own a series game. Oh, I bought The Witcher. I found the Witcher on clearance.
Yeah.
There's a handful of titles. I think there was like Devil May Cry and The Witcher and just a few games to where you could literally, if you were offline, you could put the game in and actually play it.
You're not the butt of the joke with the Halo Infinite disc, but is that disc cross generation? Like, does that work? Was that part of their cross? What do they call that thing? It's not cross buy. Shit,
Just
it was
like
right there.
Cross-platform?
Smart delivery.
Smart delivery,
you buy one SKU and then you end up getting both copies of. As Brant reaches for Days Gone, not Days Gone, Brant. Halo Infinite.
No,
I think it was just series.
We celebrate happy Halo days around here, but it's playable on like the One X and stuff, right? Didn't they scale it down?
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that new project's gonna.
No, it does say
for one.
Sorry, there we go.
Yeah, Series X
and One.
Yeah. So I guess that scales no matter which Xbox you pop that into.
I know we derailed a little bit, but yeah, essentially I think some people have argued online. I'm arguing with. I guess what I'm trying to get at here is that they're looking at different ways to bring these to new consoles. Because the easy way out will be what? Grab a Tales of Destiny ISO, use the PlayStation method, drop it in an emulator, but then it's only stuck on that device, right? That's the problem.
There'll be a lot of people excited about that, though.
Sometimes I wish they would do that.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'll be okay with that too. But
Right.
I mean, I think it's also cool that if there's not a viable way to bring that Tales of Destiny to everybody, I would say, yeah, go that route. You know what I mean? But I think right now they're trying to look at their catalog and see what they can get out there.
At least, and maybe this is geared more towards your example, but if they drop that, it's going to be what, a 1 gig download versus whatever the remaster might be, which could be like 10 to 15. I'm trying to think of, where internet's not as fast or as accessible in areas. The more Tales, the better. I'm excited about.
I'm more worried about accessibility. So
Yeah.
I'll be happy to get it either way I can, but I would like as many people, if you want that franchise to grow as we've seen in this generation, right? That everybody's moving towards, you put in as many things playable as you can. I mean, it's worked for Capcom. Square Enix is going that route, and then
And I applaud the efforts from like the Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain. We've gotten 2 fantastic retro collections that play on everything. And I can't find. I've been searching, tireless searches for Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver collection, PS5 versus Switch versus Steam. Like, I know Steam's probably going to be fine and forward compatible and look good on whatever PC that I get or Steam Deck and ROG Ally and all this sort of stuff. And it seems to be just like Tomb Raider just runs great on everything.
Yeah.
So I'd love that to be the solution. This is my curiosity, Cesar. What Tales games are stuck on what, if you know right offhand? Like, what do we not have access to right now?
Yeah.
It's like at all,
unless
or
that's
just on the older
unless that's its own episode.
So I mean, real quickly now, the very original Tales game is Tales of Fantasia, which was Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
We never got here, Super Family, excuse me. We never got it here.
Game Boy Advance.
We got the Game Boy Advance version here, but in Japan, that game was ported to PSP. That game was also ported to PS1. It was never translated. Then we move over to Tales of Destiny, which we got over here for PS1. That game was ported over to PSP and was ported over to PS2.
So there's no easy way to play the first 2 Tales games.
Outside of those are all right. In America, Tales of Fantasia is locked to Game Boy. Tales of Destiny is locked to PS1. Tales of Eternia, which is called Tales of Destiny 2 in America, is locked to PS1. And then after that, they're all PS2 based. So we got Tales of Symphonia has been freed.
That's on PS3 and PS4.
PS4, Xbox, Switch.
Symphonia. Symphonia came out last year, right?
Yeah. That was last year's remaster. The PS2, we have Tales of the Abyss is on PS2, 3DS.
That's it.
Tales of Legendia is stuck on PS2.
Only PS2. Yeah.
Right. And then after that, we had Tales of Grace F, which is PS3. Tales of Xillia 1 and 2, which is PS3.
And PC also, right? Is that one on PC? Xillia?
Tales of Xillia is not.
Okay.
It's stuck strictly on PlayStation.
Those are stuck on PS3.
Has no access to anything else, yeah.
All right.
Tales of Grace F was that way too. Now it's coming to PC and everything.
And everything.
Else,
so I need to get those two. There's 2 Zillia games, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you had Tales of Symphonia 2, which was a dawn of something that came out at some point. That was on the Wii.
On the Wii collection, and then also ported
and
to
that
PS3
was on PS3
after that. Okay.
And stuck on PS3 and Wii right now. Those haven't been ported over to anything else.
So that needs another. Can they separate that second one from the first one, or maybe apply whatever engine they did that?
I'm surprised they didn't put it as a package like they did on PS3. It was weird that they separated it as one.
Yeah.
Odd, but whatever. Then now it gets better because when you get to PS4, you have Tales of Zestiria, which was on PS4 and PC and PS3. Yeah, Tales of Berseria, which was on PS4, PC, and PS3 version was skipped in America. That was Japan exclusive. And then
what's after that?
Tales of Vesperia came out, which was stuck on 360 for a while, and there was a PS360 and PS3 in Japan.
PS3 in Japan.
That got ported over to PS4 and everything else over.
And that was a good port, right? Wasn't that one solid?
Yeah.
That's one with the dog. The dog smokes a pipe, right?
I think there were some issues with some of the voice actors because I think they changed Yuri's voice actor.
Okay.
In there, so there was some weird stuff going on. I think after that, I want to say after that is when they did the reboot of that series and they went to Tales of Arise, which is pretty much on everything. So yeah, we never got the real true Tales of Destiny 2, which was a sequel to Tales of Destiny. We never got that. That's stuck on PS2 and PSP. I mean, there's a lot of them that are kind of never seen the light of day over here. So
I think Fantasia's due for a comeback, right? Or at least a remaster or something.
I mean,
or maybe an early Tales collection that gives you Fantasia and the 2 Destiny games, maybe.
I mean, that's why I went out and I had to buy. Well, yeah, here's your Tales of Destiny port for PS2. This was the PS1 version,
and that got ported to PS2 in Japan only.
And then I bought Tales of Ys, which we all had over here.
This is the one you talked me into 20 years ago. If you don't buy this new Tales game, we'll never get another Tales game.
Never get another Tales.
Tales of Legendia.
Yep, I have both of those. I supported both of those.
Here's another one, Tales of Rebirth. This is one we never got either.
So we have never gotten that in the West, Tales of Rebirth. Is that a good one?
The true Tales of Destiny 2.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, these are the old school 2D ones that are...
where you fight along a plane, like straight across?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of Tales games we never got. So...
Hopefully this remastered project brings some of those to the forefront. Following the Capcom and the Konami like style of, come on,
yeah, because I never mentioned the portable ones like Tales of Tempest was on 3DS, Tales of Innocence, which was ported over, that was on 3DS and then ported over to Vita. Tales of Hearts, which was on Vita. So
come on, Namco, while you're looking at this, give us a Tekken collection. Give us all the old Tekken games.
They've been very stingent on their back catalog of everybody. I'm hoping that the stuff with Capcom's going to motivate them because Capcom, you saw what they're revitalizing their dormant IPs.
They're just like Capcom in that they're one of the like oldest and longest running and most successful third parties. Like they were huge on NES and Super Nintendo, Super Famicom. Then they made that jump to PlayStation, just like Namco did. I was listening to the recent Digital Foundry podcast, and they were talking about how influential Namco was for that original PlayStation. And I think about it sometimes, but it doesn't really dawn on me until it's laid out there. Like you had this brand new platform. Sony's trying to earn goodwill for new third-party publishers and things like that. They get Ridge Racer, which is a huge arcade game. They get Tekken, which is massive, and it's like just right off the rip.
As well. Ace Combat was only to them.
Yeah, Air Combat right off the rip, and then Ace Combat 2 and 3, and it's like, man, Namco just that straight flip was huge, and they felt slighted at the end of their Nintendo relationship because they had been one of the longest running third party like partners and publishers, and man, just Ridge Racer alone on PlayStation was such a big title. Drawn Grave says the VA thing for Yuri and Tales of Vesperia was weird. They put new scenes with a new VA, but kept Baker's voice for the rest. Yeah. Oh, so it was like you get different scenes with a different voice actor? That would be off-putting.
Yeah. It was that point in the time where Namco was like, oh, were they gonna fuck up now?
Yeah. What's next? All right, that's the Tales of story. I thought there was going to be more from that show, but I guess the announcing
They do
whole
this every fucking year, man, and I
Yeah.
never get excited anymore because it's every year is always anniversary stream. It's every December, and it's always like we're gonna do more, and I'm like, cool. Or they show a video of all the games they ever made, and I'm like, cool.
They're bringing that stuff forward. They're doing something. They're recognizing that back catalog. Speaking of recognizing a back catalog,
because I can't tell you how many times that you saw. I have many copies of Tales of the Abyss in many different regions.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of buying Tales of the Abyss. Just put on something I can play on now.
I got the PS2 one day one because someone was in my store insisting that if I didn't buy this game, there would never be another one in the franchise.
And we didn't have another one until Tales of Grace.
20 years later.
It was a good bit.
I got the 3DS one, which ran great. I thought on the 3DS, I was enjoying what I played in that game. Maybe I should go back to the 3DS. Maybe I should go back to the PS2 one. Which one's the one to play? Which one's the definitive version?
Was the PS2 160 frames? I feel like it was 60 frames.
They both played beautifully. Legendia did too. Legendia.
Yeah, Legendia was the bastard one. They designed that from they got somebody who was like a fighter from like Tekken, like one of the designers in there, made it more like a fighting game than an RPG. So that's the one a lot of people never played, never gave a chance. I always call it the bastard one.
Legendia is the bastard one?
Yeah, that one's more of a fighter-based RPG.
I mean, they all kind of are like side-scrolling, right? Like the way the movement and stuff works.
Yeah, they all seem that same way. So
that one just leans more into it.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me about this Helldivers 2, Killzone 2, specifically Killzone 2 crossover, and what we may or may not be receiving free from said crossover, and we may or may not have redeemed.
When this article came out, this is VGC Jordan Middler. When this article originally came out, it was just rumored that we were getting this, and it was like a social media post that went up and then got taken down. But since then, Sony has officially announced the Helldivers 2 and Killzone 2 collaboration, with the cosmetics being added to Helldivers 2 Premium Store on December 23rd, consisting of a brand new armor set, weapon, player banner, cape, and player title. I don't think it says how much they are here in this article.
I went in there earlier, and I think it's
kind of expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like $25 if you were to buy the super credits to buy everything in there, which is
why
I think a lot of people were very upset about. It's cool that if you play the game a lot, you get super credits throughout that game, but man, you have to play the game a lot too.
A lot.
I never spent any, so I had some accumulated just from never having spent any on anything.
So I think I only had enough to buy the helmet. That's what I bought.
Same.
Friend of the show.
Same.
Friend of the show. Russell refuses to spend any money on it, so he said
he hates Killzone.
If he says that we can help him farm for super credits, which I think he found a guide on how to farm for super credits, and he will purchase the said thing that Richard wants him to buy. So
I got the helmet as well, but I kind of want the chest piece or the what is that, like the main armor? Maybe it's got the tubing coming off the Hellgas soldier. It looks good, and when you're walking around that ship and your eyes are glowing and stuff, I'm like, hell yeah, this is Killzone.
Of course, they have to twist the knife in this article, talking about how the last Killzone was Killzone Shadowfall from 2014.
Yeah,
that came out after Mercenary. I feel like Mercenary was more recent for some reason. God. Oh man, it's crazy. I mean, if that's what the article says, I'm bound to believe it. It just in my head canon says the most recent was Shadowfall. Yeah, Mercenary was so good.
Sounds like a Bond film name.
That Adele sings the cover, the main theme song for.
Let the shadow
she
fall.
did Skyfall, and then she comes back for Shadowfall. This must be a sequel.
Fran was right there. I like that.
Yeah.
My favorite Adele song and my favorite video game opening. Was that it for that? That's it for the story?
Pretty much, right? Outside of the,
That's
we were all
it
welcome
for
with
that.
that with the free set when we came in. I think
Yeah.
yesterday when Richard played.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
So
I'll take some free Killzone crossover stuff.
I'll think about it. We got like 6 more days. I'll think about buying the rest of it. I don't know. We'll see.
So I looked at the super credits. If I spend $10, I think I can get the banner, like the flag banner thing on the back, and the chess piece thing. But I
Damn
mean,
it,
we
this is
paid
where we're at. We're just in there.
we paid
gambling.
money for stupid shit on Warzone, and I mean, we ran around with those characters.
I mean, I don't know, man.
You guys showed me that, like, so I was caught up in Helldivers with the leveling up system, kind of like Warzone, right? Like, I felt like my level's too low. I'm not going to contribute. They know way more about this than I do. I'm bringing them down. I was locked into that mode. But you guys showed me, hey, you can be 20, 30, 40 levels behind, and like you can still play a competent round, and there's really no effect with the leveling thing. So I'll quit chasing that. If I'm not worried about spending those points on anything. I'll spend 10 real bucks and get the Killzone stuff and show that we care about Killzone, because that's what it really comes down to, right? And it does look good when you're running around the ship and stuff. Do we want to segue straight into? We want to go straight into that?
I mean, we kind of just did.
Yeah,
right?
Brand, have you played any of the new update?
I have not.
You
yet.
downloaded it though.
Yes.
I played one level. I'll let Cesar touch on more of it than what I go into, but the new enemy, the new threat is the Illuminate. So
the voteless.
The voteless. It's so crazy.
The voteless.
Yeah, the game's all about spreading managed democracy and all this stuff. They call these guys the voteless.
All right, Richard Brandt said it too, man. Like this latest update's the most Halo out of all the updates, right? It's got like the most Halo-ish
Yeah.
feel.
And we're shooting
the
these guys, and they're
enemies-
like the Flood. Like they're coming at you like the Flood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like they had like the leap routes and stuff like that, and they're with these. They have even the shields where they're blocking me when I'm shooting at them. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's very Halo-ish.
You have to take down the
Outside of the
shields
damn,
first, and then you can get to the enemy.
Outside of the fucking Star Trek stuff that happens to me, like, I'm walking around, just people just beaming in front of me. I'm like, what the?
What happened with that? You were talking about that last night. I was like,
I was
what are you
walking
talking
around,
about?
the ghost from the Destiny would like scan me, and it
Yeah.
turned purple, and it just like Star Trek beamed all these enemies down at me. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm running over there, like, you guys gotta help me. Like, these people just beamed in front of me. They're beating my ass.
Like
it just
3D printed them right there.
it's just like it's like
Yeah.
straight like like the Star Trek reboot. It's
Yeah, the inner.
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
They just beam in front of me. It's like a whole squad. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here?
Brent, you're in a cityscape, so there's like tall skyscrapers and there's cars
There's urban
everywhere
base.
and
Was it what did Russell call it, Mumbai or something like that from Halo
New
3?
Mombasa. Yeah.
New Mombasa, yeah.
It's good though. The music's good and the enemy variety's different. We were playing with a character named the Welfare Cheese. That was the PlayStation profile we were hanging out with. And he said, because you want to tailor your loadout to what the enemy type is susceptible to and stuff like that. So he said the flamethrower. I have the flamethrower unlocked. He said the flamethrower was a good option for like crowd control for when those zombie looking things are coming at you.
The Flood. This is called the Flood.
Yeah, they're essentially the Flood. It's very Halo-esque. But then you also have Russell calls them the War of the Worlds things. There's these tall, like almost bipedal octopus looking machines that they have tentacles underneath them. They're wicked looking. But I just played this one round with them. I think Cesar, you played a good bit more of the update.
I mean, play a campaign, but that's it.
I do want to note this update is akin to like a $40 expansion from back in the day. Like this is a huge update. This is a lot of content, a whole new faction, and it's a free update in the game. There's no season pass that you had to add to do this, and it's really cool what they're doing. Arrowhead is they got a lot of mentions in the Game Awards. I don't know that they won a lot. Maybe best ongoing game. I think they won like best live service or whatever.
They won like 2 things, right?
Yeah.
I think mostly it was multiplayer and ongoing game or something like that.
But they're doing great work. The game is still.
It wasn't what like people wanted like game of the year, because remember everybody was obsessed with that game earlier this year. So it's weird it wasn't considered. I don't think it would win, but I was weird it wasn't considered.
I mean, I'm assuming the three of us in our top 5 games of the year we'll all be talking about Helldivers too. So
250, at least 200 of those hours that were in the game. Maybe about half of those.
It's all
maybe.
Russell's time on his PlayStation. Helldivers, the dedicated Helldivers box. I continue my stream of Resistance. Had I started streaming it last week when we talked about it? I talked about wanting to do it and starting
and
over.
then you did like 3 streams of it already.
I did, and it's fun. So this is the launch title for the PS3, Resistance: Fall of Man. I had to do a little tinkering with like the OBS setup here, and I tried to go straight HDMI. It was like in my mind, I'm like, it's an 8K HDMI. This is going to be HDCP. It's going to get rid of it. We're good. I'll just be able to go from the PS3 to the capture card. No signal. I'm looking at OBS and it's like no signal. I'm like, here we go. So I end up fishing out loosely. I had this. I assumed it was like a cheap. It's either Insignia brand or GameStop brand, something like that. Maybe Mad Catz. It's a multi-component out cable, and it is meant for 360, Wii, and PS2, PS3, and gives those component out. And there's like a junction box thing on the cable that has a HD and SD switch that you can go back and forth. So I fished out my RetroTink. Was that the 5X Pro? Cesar, what's the one? Is the 4K the like latest and greatest? The RetroTink 4K?
RetroTink 4K,
okay.
Yep.
So this is the 5X Pro or 5X, maybe whatever it was. It was the most recent before this 4K one. And I did component out from my PS3, and then I did HDMI from that thing to my capture card. Flawless. And supposedly the RetroTinks do not play nice with Elgatos. I've never had an issue. I guess that's just a disclaimer that Mike Chi puts out there, the RetroTink guy. I think Cesar's doing some research for us.
No, I'm not researching. I got lost in the rabbit hole.
I think anyways, I think it's the 5X Pro.
Don't wait on me. Continue.
But this particular model, RetroTink, does like, it'll do scaling. It'll do, obviously, it'll do like a 4x3. It'll do scan lines. For the PS3, I just wanted to pass through. I've got 720p set on the PS3. I just wanted to pass through that. That's what Resistance topped out at into the capture card. And I've played the first like 3 to 4 hours, I think, on stream. So that's on YouTube, like all of it. It's always going to be there, and then it's on Twitch for however long that is until they kick that off. But it's a lot of fun. Silent protagonist, as Cesar said in the chat when he was joining us there. Nathan Hale has nothing going on. He's not telling you anything. He said one line this whole game, I think. This is the Chimera invasion of Britain. They've already taken over Russia, and I've just been getting more and more weapons. I love the bullseye. The auger was introduced in this last round of gameplay that I've done. The auger weapon, like the secondary of it, throws up a shield, and the way the auger works is it shoots through stuff. So as it goes through walls, it builds up power, I guess, like it more efficiency as it passes through stuff. So the more things that you can shoot through, and on the counter of that, they're also shooting back at you, so they can shoot through your shield back at you. So there's an added element of trying to shoot through the shield and like add that extra layer of damage onto the enemy, and that they can also come back at you. But the auger got introduced. I had a level with the I want to call it the Farsight, but that's the perfect dark weapon. But it's the sniper, which in this game lets you slow down time to snipe, which is extremely satisfying. It is so much fun getting that weapon and peering down that sight and just picking off Chimera in slow motion. But so far, Nathan Hale is in a factory where we're trying to figure out where these like super Chimera are made. And I think I'm a little bit past halfway. I might be at halfway or past, but I'm just having a blast. And I think about the game and I'm like, there's enough. The way the mission structure is very much like old school Halo. A mission might be 30, 35 minutes. And then I can decide like, all right, am I close to the end of the stream? And then I'll come back maybe later in the day and do another hour. But I'm really, really enjoying it. And I've had good turnout. Like people are showing up and providing commentary. And the feedback is, yes, I will make my image larger. I tried to shrink it down so it was just like me in the corner. Brant, what'd you say? Nobody puts Little Richard in the corner? It's just like
nobody puts Little Richard in the corner.
I was like, man, every time I watch the stream, it's like, damn, I all see is the NOFODcast logo and just some dude doing this.
and I'm wiggling around by the logo. Do I take the logo out? Do I not even have that in the stream? What do I do? You guys need to jump on there and help me set this thing up.
I mean, you've seen the way Brand. I mean,
I could change the scene real quick.
You see how I stream on PS5.
Oh, that'll fuck up the stream.
You want to get a decent big one, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to be. I guess I can be in the middle and stay away from the ammo. Like the ammo's on one side and the health is on the other side. Like I don't want to close off any of the HUD. I guess that's only important to me, but I don't know. I'll tinker with it. My happy place was the super small version of me that just provides commentary, but that's not appropriate apparently. So
all saw the commentary from was a NOFODcast sticker in the corner.
Mm-hmm. The talking NOFODcast sticker. I still want to. I'm looking at a stack of games over there. I think I talked last week about there's certain PS3 games that you can just pop into the system and it has like cross media bar editions. So either themes or soundtracks or downloadable content. So I've got like a 28-foot HDMI cable running from the PS3 over to my capture device. So it will be a lot of like getting up and walking over there and swapping out the discs. But I kind of want to mess around with just popping those in and seeing what content is on there and then like adding it to my PS3. So I may go through some of that too. But it's been a lot of fun playing Resistance. That as a launch PS3 game, it is so much fun to play. You get in the flow. Like I was talking last week about crouch being on L2, which is fucking weird as hell. But you get used to it. Like that's the button for crouch. So you're just like, okay, this is not what I'm used to, but it is for this game. So,
I mean, I hate having that whiplash every time we play Halo Master Chief and there's 85 different versions of doing stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
That just drives me insane. I was like, man, just make it comparable to between all versions. Yep. Or a troll set that comparable to all versions. I know some people like the OG stuff. They'll know right away as soon as it boots up. So
yeah. Like
I don't know, man.
One game came out, I can't remember, like after all this stuff, and the control schemes were like Honor of Duty or something, and then like Spartan mode, and it was like you would know that it was either Call of Duty controls or Halo controls at the time.
No, okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's a spoof.
Yeah, that's what they did. I can't remember what game that was, but you could select between those two control methods. It wouldn't have been a Time Splitters, would it? Maybe one of those later Time Splitters.
I don't recognize it. I have yet to play a Time Splitters game in my life, so
they're good. Did we ever figure out if we can do like co-op on PS2, the old school ones, or does that have to be local to pull that off?
I think it has to be local. Yeah. It doesn't have that Nintendo magic where they're able to do co-op over the internet.
Yeah, the whole divide up the screen thing. But that's Resistance: Fall of Man. That continues to be fun. Thoroughly enjoying that. My last plug before I hand it over, I watched the No Clip has a documentary, the web series with Danny O'Dwyer and is it Jason James? Something like that. They do documentaries on video games, history, preservation, what the studio's doing, stuff like that. Like they just did they were the Half-Life 2 documentary makers when the Half-Life 2 anniversary stuff came out, and they just did one for Legacy of Kain. So where did the series start? Where is it going? What happened in the middle of it? Crystal Dynamics brought them in to archive a bunch of stuff. Like they had a bunch of audio tapes and original audio recordings and auditions for the voice cast. The voice cast of Legend of Kain, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver was almost the cast of Metal Gear Solid. There are voice samples of David Hayter, who was Solid Snake. Jennifer Hale was... who did she play? Meryl? No, it wasn't Meryl. It was Naomi Hunter's voice actress. Colonel's voice actress was on there. It's like a who's who of Metal Gear Solid voice actors. The DARPA chief, I can't remember his name. He was a voice actor on it, but it was like they immediately.
Are we talking about Decoy Octopus?
Was it? I mean, that's the same voice actor, but Colonel was on there. Colonel Campbell. So it was just like these characters could have been voiced by Metal Gear Solid characters, and that's stuff that this documentary dug up, and it was really, really good. And they played the voice auditions over the parts of the game that those were created in. And I did my whole what's the best version of Soul Reaver collection to get, and went back and forth. And the Humble Bundle had the PC version for like $23 or something like that. So I jumped on that one. So
much I paid for the PlayStation version.
Yeah, I've downloaded that. So we've talked about this before. Like my method is to get the PC one first if I really want to play something, and then I'll buy the physical copy later when it's on sale. I did that with the Tomb Raider Remastered collection. I'm very happy to support that and double dip. I triple dipped on the Tomb Raider collection. I'll probably do it with the 3 through 6 that they're coming out with, or 4 through 6. I'm sorry. But I downloaded Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver collection. I think I'm gonna give that a go on the Steam Deck. I'm in this weird mode of like I don't know whether to download it on the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. I can't tell like what's the best version to do stuff, because I downloaded Okami on the ROG Ally, and it was so weird trying to figure out how to make it full screen. It opened up in this window on my ROG Ally, and I was just playing in this little Windows window. I was trying to start Okami in this miniaturized version.
That's the thing that people like about Steam Deck.
Yeah, it just fucking works.
Tailored.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it worked. I mean, you got to remember it's PC gaming, so
I know
you have to go in there. You have to tell it to full screen. You have to tell it to
up
the graphics and stuff like that. So
because the ROG Ally has way more capabilities, but it's not as intuitive. Like half the time I'm using
Windows.
it, I wish
Windows is never intuitive. So
half the time I'm using it, I wish I had a mouse and keyboard. And I fired up Okami on that, and I'm like, man, I can't make it full screen. I don't know how to get out of this. How do I get out of this and just quit the game?
Yeah, you got to hit the armor crate up there to get out of it. But I've learned that I've used my ROG for anything that's not compatible with Steam. So
I think I might lean that direction. I was throwing stuff at it because it's my largest capacity device. So I just wanted to
that and Game Pass games, because I can download them natively on there. So
yep, that's an advantage too. I think I put Forza Horizon 4 on the ROG Ally, and I haven't messed with that. And I downloaded Legacy of Kain on Steam Deck. It was Steam Deck verified, so I was like, you know what? I'm probably not gonna fuck with that. If it's something Steam Deck verified, it's probably going on that device. That'll be the way to go. That might be my separation. But I'm still wanting to see some stuff at the high frame rate, right? Like the ROG Ally has a higher frame rate screen than the Steam Deck does. So
yeah, there's some games that I've
see
compared back and forth between the two that they do. There's some games that run way smoother on there and look better. So, but you do have to fuck with it. So that's just your caveat. You're gonna have to sit there and play with it. So
yep, I fired up Battlefield 3. I was playing that campaign recently on PS3, so I was like, let me download this on ROG Ally since it won't work on Steam Deck. So it launches out of like the EA launcher. And I can't get, the introductory sequence on Battlefield 3, you're like fighting through a train, and this game is old enough to where there's no console mappings for the controller. So it's like mouse left click to do the certain move, like a terrorist will like grab you and you're supposed to melee them off of you or something. I can't for the life of me figure out what that button is on the controller, and I fail it over and over, and I'm like, well, I'm probably never getting past this point on this thing, and there's no way to map this shit to controller.
You may know, but we can sit down and look at it next time we see each other, because if you go to the Armory crate, you can download a controller types to attach to games. So
when I first installed it, it launched that crate, and it was telling me like, which one do you want to use? And I'm like, well, obviously gamepad controls. And then as I'm going through the game, it's not giving me any sort of prompts. It's like, press E to pick up the shotgun. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? There's no E on this thing, man.
Yeah, you got to reapply it. It'll fix it if you reapply.
Yeah, because I would like to play it. It played flawlessly on the ROG Ally. Like, it looked super clean, the shooting and everything, until I got to that point with left mouse click. I have no fucking clue what that maps to. And as they have me, like, it's a time QTE thing, right? Like, so they grab you, and you've got a certain amount of time to push them off of, or whatever that action's going to be in the cutscene. And I'm mashing everything, like I'm just going to town and don't fucking do anything. And I die, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this. This part's not for me. So I end up getting rid of that, and I might pick it. It looked gorgeous on PS3, to be honest. I know that's probably not the best way to play, but it looked good when I started that campaign on PS3. So we'll see.
Yeah, go ahead. Just spoil your first-person shooters on PS3. You'll be all right.
It's not a horrible way to play those. I know they're gonna work,
Mhm.
and I'm streaming it from here. I've run into something I mentioned on the stream. Cesar, I don't know if you were on there yet or not. I forgot the PS3 controllers don't charge like in sleep mode. So you put the system to sleep and they do not charge. And if it's a genuine DualShock 3 controller, it doesn't charge over USB. So I'm not sure, like, what I've been doing is if I'm streaming, I plug one of the controllers in so it's just like charging on the side. And then the next time I go to play, I just swap that one out for that one. Because maybe my batteries aren't as good as they used to be and they're not lasting as long, but I need a solution. Like I've got these external things for all the other newer controllers where I just plug them into AC adapter and just turn them upside down or something, and plug them in and they just charge that way. So I need to find a comparable PS3 type setup to that. I forget some of the luxuries.
I just bought a charging dock.
That's what I need. I need a charging dock.
Yeah.
I forget some of the luxuries that the PS4 provided us, like put it in sleep mode and keep your controller plugged in, and it'll just like you'll see it pulsing, but it'll be charging the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's me rambling on for PS3 and some Helldivers and a bunch of nonsense. But those are my games played this week. You guys.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the couple rounds I played with you and Russell on Helldivers, I didn't play that much more. I mean, I did a full campaign with Russell.
What does that consist of? You mentioned that earlier, but I didn't quite know what you meant by what full.
It's a full campaign. Was. It's campaign is what, 3 battles, like 3 maps.
Oh yeah,
that's
where you do 3 different game types in the full thing.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah. I mean, the only difference is on there. It's like it plays a little bit differently. I mean, it's like Richard said, it's still Helldivers, but it's different. It's like the enemies are different. It's not like they didn't reuse the same, like, oh, this is just a reskinned character, you know what I mean? Like from the previous worlds, they play differently, right?
It's fun having a third type. Yeah.
So it's like but you still do the same things. Like you said, it's destroying bug holes or robot houses. You destroy alien ships. You got to knock down the shields and then
throw a grenade in the ramp or whatever. Mm-hmm.
So it's like this is kind of the same thing, but there's different mechanics to get the stuff done outside of like you. The only one that's super hard is trying to do the flag, as you have all those voteless coming at you.
The voteless.
Yeah, as you just run around the flag trying to live. They can't overwhelm you, and they got the ones that I always call Baxter Stockman. I'm the only one that calls them Baxter Stockman, but it's
the
like
flying
he flies
guys.
around in a jetpack,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he just shoots you at you. So it's like this different enemy types. Then they're, like I said, they get the huge giants with the spears and the halo-like shields that come up there. If you shoot them too many times, they block your shots. And the War of the Worlds, and so far that's everything on there, right? That pretty much hits all the enemy types that are on this map.
Unless you saw some I didn't see, because I think we were playing, for my sake, on one of the easier levels just to get started.
Yeah, you didn't get the Warhog one where the Warhog is in there.
Yeah,
you have to like manually change it to. You had to manually change it to drive and reverse and go first and second gear and stuff like that. You have to manually do it. Yeah. So, but it plays. I played a little bit in the. I don't know what they call it, but the Warhog or whatever it is.
It's fun.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, so we played PUBG. We all played PUBG again.
Yeah, I forgot about PUBG.
I'll let y'all cover that. I talked for a long time.
Oh man, I mean, we almost won one. Brant was so close.
I came in second 2 rounds.
Yeah. I died early in that round as I got gunned down and nobody was near me.
So that guy's a god because he killed 4 of us to win that game. He's a PUBG god is who we went up against.
But I mean, we played some PUBG. I mean, it is way slower pace than Warzone, right? So that's the only bad thing about it. But it fits more the play style that we're accustomed to, where we like to do the hunter gathering type stuff, where we like to gather.
I would like a middle ground. Because Warzone.
That's why I proposed Apex. Apex is still the middle ground. So
yeah,
I just the firefights suck at. Yeah.
Yeah, those maps are like way too large on PUBG.
We died a whole round against the gas. The gas was coming for us.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I wanted to play, which was the OG map, seemed to be the perfect mix, right? Because it's big, but it's not too big. But we died so quickly on that one, so
we didn't ever get very far. I think Apex is the perfect mix. And I was just believe it or not, this came up with my pharmacist today. He saw my Happy Halo Days sweatshirt. He's like, man, I love that. I had so many great memories being at University of Georgia playing Halo 3, and it just launched into this whole thing. And he's like, yeah, Warzone's too fast paced. And I was like, we tried to pivot from Warzone, and we picked up PUBG, and it's like, it's so long in between conflicts. Like, well, I don't want to see anybody. Like, I want to survive till the end, but it's like we're not prepared when we get to that point. And we were winning some shootouts in Warzone. There's just too many, like, where you can't even land. So we need that happy medium. And he's like, have you ever played Apex? And I was like, yeah. And he said, it sounds like Apex is that mix of what you're talking about. And I was like, you know what? I've never heard it put that way, of where I'm aggravated with Warzone and then thinking about PUBG being too slow. That's like the perfect balance.
Apex for life, man.
Shout out to my local pharmacist, my drug dealer.
Yeah. You're legalized drug
I
dealer.
heart my drug dealer.
Outside of that, I've put in a good bit of time of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on the very end of the game.
Oh,
the final level.
Oh, damn! Yeah. I have not picked it up since we talked about it.
Shocker! It's probably one of the best games I ever played. It's really good.
Ooh!
I've had a lot of fun with this part since it's one. It reminds me like a lot of fun I have with playing Uncharted. There's some set pieces in there that are very, very well done.
We thought it was going to play like Uncharted at the time. Like, that was the easy way out. And then they said first person, and we were like, how is it going to be a good first person game?
No, first person, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. Because I did a fair bit of like the side missions, and I got it. This game, I know when I have a good game on my hands is when I was up again to 3-4 in the morning. It's like, damn, I got to go work in 2 hours. And I'm still playing this game like I did with Tears of the Kingdom. I'm just sitting here just doing side missions all day long. So because as I go through and you buy these maps, and the maps show you like all the shit you can get everywhere, and I'm like, all right, let me go get these medicine bottles over here. And I sit there like, we get all the medicine bottles, and I'm just going around the whole map, just getting all the medicine bottles, and I'm just clearing out shit.
It's fun to move around and explore.
Yeah,
I've long said gameplay moments. Halo's known for the 10 seconds of Halo or 15 seconds of Halo or whatever it was they marketed it as. But when you're in a game, you want to move around that level. You want the movement to be fun. Like Link to the Past is all about the dungeons. The dungeons are phenomenal, and the trying to find the new item and use the item against the boss and stuff like that. But you still have to get from dungeon to dungeon and pick up the next clue and things like that, right? And what is that like? That overworld is fun. All of a sudden now you can hookshot people, or you bounce arrows off the shield, and they nailed like the movement in this level, and like different paths that you can take, and ladders that go up, and like you thought you had to go up this ramp and clear out a guardhouse or whatever, but you could have seen this ladder and gone up this way and like drop down on top of them, and it just the traversal, like the in between where it's not the super high stress moments, is like they nailed that gameplay element in this one.
Yeah, so I mean, you haven't played that far, Richard, but I know you start out in like a small area, like in Italy. I'm not going to name the area. I won't name the cities because you got.
Yeah, I'm still in the Vatican. I haven't picked it up since we all talked about it last.
And this is for everybody else as well. And then you go into a huge area, someplace in Africa, which is way bigger. And
New Mombasa.
It gives you adjacent, and then it gives you like signs on the road where it can help you travel to those locations as you find those locations to help cut down on some of your travel times. But it's very huge. There's very much dungeons and stuff to find in that open world. Then it shrinks down to probably where Brant was at. Is doing
a very linear portion after that.
There's some linear levels
and very quick.
Oh.
A nice throwback to in Uncharted 2, because there's a level in Uncharted 2 that you go into. Then it goes into another area in Southeast Asia. Now
That's where I'm at.
I just finished up the area in Thailand. I just got out of Thailand, and now I'm back in the Middle East for the end. So it's
okay. So you're definitely a little bit farther than me then.
So the Thailand area, Suk Thai, is all water based. You're on a boat, and you have to take these rivers and canals and go through everything. So like it's not the desert.
Exciting.
It's like it's so diverse, and the game is. I love it so much because the game is Indiana Jones to its core, man. It's got the superstition, it's got the religion in there, it's got like all that kind of mixture of everything where like there's always truths to everything. Not everything might be 100% true, but there's some certain truths into it and all kind of mixed together. And I mean, it's the whole bit on there is really really good. I mean, it reminds me like a Last Crusade, that type of stuff. Like they even made a reference to his dad in there. Like they threw it in there.
Henry Jones
It's like
Sr.
apparently somebody's watching him. They're watching him and his dad because their dealings with the church. So
I saw someone rank the Indiana Jones stories, and they put this one up there with Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's really really
above
good.
Temple of Doom, above the two new ones.
You know, it's like I don't want to compare it to Uncharted 2 because Uncharted is undoubtedly inspired from Indiana.
Right.
Tomb Raider. This is a good first outing for machine games. There's areas in this game that I think like need a little bit more polish, or could use a little bit more shine. But overall, I'm with you, Cesar. It's a very, very, very good game. It's an extremely good game.
I haven't been pulled in like this and like that type of game and since probably Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, where I was going to say and just kept playing because I just wanted to keep experiencing the stories. And every set piece is amazing and how it's really good, man. It's a good ass video game. It's Brant said before. It's a good ass video game.
High praise.
And
really, really good.
And going back to back from Uncharted 4 to this, that's why I'm like I'm taking the peak Uncharted, where they completely perfected the formula, and going to this, which, like I said, it's Machine Games' first outing with this. This is a little bit different than their normal
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein stuff. So, but it's damn good.
Still killing Nazis.
And I mean, they could do some little tweaks here and there. And I mean, I'd love to see. And they've already talked about wanting to continue and go through and do more Indiana Jones stories. So
they should
let this
be
one of their flagships.
Definitely should.
They should, because it's very, very good. It's very Indiana Jones. It's good as hell. I mean, it's really, really good. I like how they gave themselves some room and just took place a year after Raiders. I mean, they don't have to sit there and kick around weird timelines because they kick it out so far. But because I mean, they even reference what was it, Marion from the first movie? Yeah, they reference her in there because they were engaged at some point. And they kind of like danced around why they broke up and stuff like that. They kind of aired some of that stuff in there too, where you didn't have to wait till like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to kind of find out what happened. So,
or not at all.
Yeah,
he's struggling with it. Remember, at the beginning is that flashback sequence, and then he's like,
everybody kind of gives him hell about it. There's a point where he kind of opens up to a certain character, and he kind of explains like why everything turned out the way it did.
That's awesome.
So,
I haven't got to that part.
That's busy chasing the past.
Yep, that was the words. Keep chasing the past.
Keep chasing the past.
But yeah, a good ass video game. I'll kick it over to Brant. Like I said, hopefully I should finish it here shortly. Like I said, I'm not rushing through it. So I mean, I've enjoyed going around exploring and just finding items and going through different encampments and putting on disguises, because that's the first thing I do is like, all right, I got to get disguised before I go into this encampment, because it's going to be near impossible to complete anything in there.
I'm still the father. Hello, father.
Yeah, and unless the captain finds you.
Yeah, they see through the skies every time.
Wait a minute.
But yeah, I'll kick it over to Brant. Finish up here.
I mean, just like you, I'm in Thailand. Just got on the boat and had to. They usually, like in the last one, the last area was
before Richard gets back. That whole set in the Himalayas and Shanghai was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was. And the second area, which is Egypt, they kind of gate you off from certain areas because you try to, like, if you go and explore, you'll find areas that are way too dark to see in. And so you have to go and explore and find a merchant that has like a lighter. And so you have to make sure you have enough money to buy this lighter. And the same thing in this area, which Cesar said, there's a lot of water. And they do talk about how there's gonna be an underwater portion where you will have to swim for an undisclosed distance underwater. So you have to go and buy like a rebreather. And when I saw the price of that thing, I had like 200 gold, and that thing's like 700 and something. I'm like, holy crap!
It's talking Tong Sang was like, I'll cut you a good deal.
I got
was
you
like,
a
"What?
good
That's
deal.
It's like, this is
And
not a
then
good
I'll
deal. What the hell?
That's a horrible deal.
Yeah.
But then thankfully there's a Nazi encampment not too far that you can go and sneak in there and I think I walked out of that place with like over 2,000
Yeah.
gold. So I had like more than enough.
You looted them.
All right, Richard, before Brent continues, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, man. That supernatural stuff, that you remember, like Tomb Raider, that reboot, like the Sorceress and stuff like that. There's a good bit of supernatural stuff in this game too, man. It's
Ooh.
really, really good. You're missing out on a good ass story, man. You got to jump on there.
I just got to get back to it. Yeah, I didn't leave
Yeah.
it. I just got to get back to it.
I had to bully Russell into playing it again. He started playing.
He picked it back up.
Yeah, I was bullying the hell out of him. I just kept sending him messages, Indiana.
I think he's past me. I think he's past the Vatican.
Yeah.
We named the dog Indiana.
That's what he told me. That's how he responded with.
Perfect.
And other than that, and a little bit of
Yeah.
PUBG, haven't really played anything else. Did get in a bunch of games and things, so I'll go over some stuff acquired real quick.
It was acquired.
I know both. Cesar and I got this
Yeah, finally.
Crossfire Sierra Squad.
Did y'all play it yet?
No, we haven't played it yet. We need to carve out some
Stream
time.
it, you cowards.
Break out the VRs
This time
and do that.
economy? I don't have time for that.
Stream it, you cowards.
We talked about these, but they came in as well with that game. Both Silent Hill 2 remake. Oh, there we go.
I see horror games.
And some Alan Wake 2
Lots of horror games.
Deluxe Edition. Along with that, I know I said I was also getting this one. This came in the Metaphor.
Fantizo.
Which
and
also
then
won
as-
Biggest Game Awards.
Was it yesterday or day before? It was one of those days this week. These came in from Limited Run. I've got La Tomba Special
Yay.
Edition.
Man, that took
On
a
PS5.
long time.
And Richard's game that he also wanted but knew it was going to take a long time, and he started playing and subsequently stopped.
Sounds like a Richard move.
I'm close. I'm
Beyond
so
Good and
close to
Evil.
the end of the game. I need to finish that one.
I don't believe you until you show me the save file.
I
It
love
doesn't say
it.
more than 5 minutes.
I love it. That game's amazing.
A Ubisoft original 20th anniversary. And
Oh,
then
did you
the
announce for the
piece-
audio listeners what that was? You showed us.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, he announced everything.
The Beyond of the Goods of the Evils.
And then the last but not least, I'd been on. I've talked a decent bit about these special guides
Now that,
that
you
I
finally
found
played this game on PS5, finally, you're not
yeah,
trapped to the
from
Vita
my
anymore.
from my childhood. This is a company called Versus Guide, who made several
Yeah.
different guidebooks. Very in depth, very nice guides. This one came to me, and literally, it is in the most mint condition. It's got like a small crease, some little like wrinkles on the spine, but literally, it has the. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. It has the receipt.
Receipt in there. What
It
store is
has-
it from?
This is a store from North Carolina, High Tech Game Center.
Are they still around?
Are
Can
they
we
still
still drive
open?
to 'em?
Yeah, let's drive there now.
I don't know. It was sold at 5:48 p.m.
What's it called?
on
What's the name of the store?
Overnight trip.
High Tech Game Center. And it was sold 10/30/1999.
You were 3 years old.
That's right.
-3.
And
Baby Brant.
it was $15.85 after tax, only 6% sales tax. If you notice on the front, it says something about a free poster inside, and there's actually the poster is still in
It's
here.
in there.
It's still in here. It's still attached.
Are you gonna take it out and put it on your wall, or are you gonna keep it in there?
Oh, I don't know. I'm so iffy about actually wanting to take it out.
All right, Richard, to answer your question, I do not see it there anymore. It looks like a
No.
vapor store now is in that
No.
location.
Dunder Mifflin.
Vapor, not paper.
Oh, I heard
Vapor.
paper store. It was
Vapor.
way more interesting if it was a paper store.
And a lot of these guides have done something different or unique. I think I've got the last one I got was the Metroid Prime one, and it had.
Did I have that one? I went down there and looked at the ones I had and sent you. Maybe Perfect Dark I had.
I don't remember. Yeah, maybe Perfect Dark. But I remember the Metroid Prime one actually had a guide for the original Metroid as well in there. This one actually has interviews.
Shinji Mikami, who's that guy?
So they have, Shinji Mikami in there, and oh my gosh! But this is a damn good guide, and I was just surprised at the condition of the guide too.
Like near mint, right?
Near freaking.
Was that an eBay find, or are you picking these up somewhere?
That was an eBay find.
Richard, I sent y'all a text. Well, not you, Brant, because you won't understand this reference. But
Thine reference. This
was next door to the closed down game shop.
Am I reading this reference aloud
on
the show?
No. I just sent it to you, Richard.
Oh. Friend of the show, Russell.
But yeah.
Look at down there. What says best wings, right?
Best wings and burgers, hands down. Sports bar, great food, good times. It's also next to a Nationwide. Stupid. Why couldn't you read aloud? Great burgers, good times.
You saw Russell what he said. He said best wings and burgers.
Best wings and burgers. Stupid.
But yeah, other than just some PUBG and Indiana Jones, that's really it.
All right, we're barreling towards the holidays. I think we've all decided we're going to take next week off show-wise, right? But I'll probably pick up a couple resistance shifts here and there. I would love to see you guys play the VR game. That would be awesome. Please let me know if you go to do that.
Oh yeah, we'll stream that for sure.
All right, but is that it for us? You guys want to add anything? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you in 2 weeks. Bye.